Hey everybody, here to talk to you about skin this week, something I know intimately about. For almost 19 years, I've been doing dermatology, and I love doing adult females. Their skin is so unique. They tend to put so much effort and so much money into their skin, but really what they're getting out of it is less than what they should be when you consider how much money, time, and effort that is being put into that. Um, I want to start at the head and then I'm going to end at the feet. There's some different things I like to teach about skin that impact you, and I actually do this on exam when I do my full skin checks for people. Um, I always start with number one, a skin check. And really, I'd be remiss if I didn't encourage you to all look at your skin. Melanoma is on the rise, and we have not even touched the surface of trying to educate people about the reality of this. And one person dies every hour with due to melanoma. And we're not really good at it when it's spread metastatically. We're awful at treating melanoma, but the majority of cases are actually really early, and there's usually superficial spreading where they haven't gone deep, or they're actually in transition, and we're picking up more of the in transition melanomas, and these are greater than 97% of the time curable just by surgical excision. So that's, the most important and impactful thing that can happen by examining your skin is that literally you can prevent a melanoma from progressing on. Um, Melanoma can be anywhere. It can be on your scalp. It can be behind your ear. It can be on your butt. It can be on the bottom of your foot. It can be under your armpit. For men, it can be on the penis and the scrotum. It is anywhere there's skin. It actually can be in our eye and can be in some other parts inside of our body, but every part of your body should be visualized. Your head, your scalp, your back of your ears can be either done by a partner or by your hairdresser. And people getting their hair cut on a regular basis when it's wet is being actually visualized. The scalp is best seen when the hair is wet, and when the hair is being moved for grooming and cutting, it actually can be visualized 100%. So I actually ask people to have their hairdresser check with them or whether they have anything on their scalp, and to report if there is anything different or changing or bleeding or scabbing. This is what should be done on the rest of your body as well, from the front and the back, whether is anything new or changing, and anything, I don't care how old you are, if it's new or changing, to get it looked at. Melanoma is actually on the rise in younger people, in the teens, and in the 20 age category is the fastest growing rate for melanoma. And on occasion, these can be very aggressive and dangerous. And so I do not discount any moles that are changing in the younger population anymore. Sun-related skin cancers happen mostly in sun-exposed areas. They are not so much a area that is changing, although they can be new. They tend to be more things that are bleeding or scabbing. When we're looking at the moles, which are for melanoma, where we talk about the ABCDs: asymmetry, border, color, diameter, anything changing. E is not for elevation. E is for evolving. But these are usually marks that are flatter, and areas that look like they might be just looking different. So I like to say if something's new or changing or bleeding or scabbing, it should get looked at. The sun-related lesions tend to be more of a scabby nature. They tend to be something that is just non-healing. On the face, on the arms, on the chest, on the back of the legs, any place that we got sun, especially when we were younger and we had our bodies exposed out at extended amounts of time on the beach. Back of the legs, I have skin cancers a lot from people when we fell asleep on the beach. One thing that's newly experienced is that the daylight that comes through glass, that comes through your car window, that comes through your kitchen window, is actually more damaging than we ever thought. It's deeply damaging into the skin. It causes the wrinkles and the brown spots and the red lines, and it causes one of the skin cancers. So we recommend now that sun protection should be on anything exposed, your neck up and your tops of your hands, 365 days a year. So sun protection is recommended for any of these body areas, and we're asking that we use SPF of 30 at the minimum. 30 SPF is what we need to get the UVA spectrum, and the UVA spectrum is the spectrum of light that comes through the glass, the spectrum of light that is more deeply damaging. So the UVA rays age our skin. The UVB rays are the ones that burn our skin. So those are the ones that when you're lying on the beach or you've got your car out the car window and your window's rolled down, you will burn your arm. So the B rays burn, the A rays age. The B rays only need SPF 15, but we don't care about those anymore. We don't even want to talk about them anymore, because if you're not protecting against UVA, you are not protecting yourself at all. So 30 minimum. You'll see now on the newer delineation of sunscreen parameters are SPF 30 and 50 plus, and then it should say broad spectrum. The broad spectrum is for the UVA spectrum. So you don't want to put anything on that's not saying broad spectrum. There is nothing that lasts all day. So it's a myth that people can put sunscreen on once a day and have it last. For water sports, sweating, you need to reapply per the directions. And some sunscreens need reapplication every 40 minutes, some need every 80 minutes, and there are a few that actually are 120 minutes. But for non-sweating experiences, which is the other 360 days a year that you don't go to the beach, you need to reapply often. And the best sunscreens that require you to reapply the least amount are a few brands, mostly the Neutrogena and the Aveeno brands, which are the ones I recommend because they're formulated chemically to last 6 hours. Mexoryl is an ingredient that's found in a lot of Canadian products, and La Roche-Posay is one of the products that Mexoryl is found in, and that is another chemical formulation that lasts 6 months. 6 hours, I'm sorry. So Neutrogena, Aveeno, or La Roche-Posay are chemical sunscreens that last 6 hours. I have changed over to using mineral sunscreens, which are the zinc and titanium formulations, and they also have a longer shelf life life on your skin. They also have less tendency to create reaction on your skin. Chemical irritant, breakout, burning eyes. So I am tending to use more of the mineral sunscreens. Those are the only ones I can tolerate, and those too last extended amount of time. So the best way to think about this is that after you have breakfast, you should put sunscreen on. It be in your lotion. After you eat lunch, you reapply it, which is usually about 6 hours later. And then if it's daylight out and you finish dinner, to reapply sunscreen. The middle of the summer, it's going to be light out till about 8 or 8:30, and a lot of times we're done at dinner at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and you still have a few hours of daylight. So all of this time has added up to give you your daylight exposure, your aging exposure, which you can see on your skin as aging, brown spots, wrinkles, red lines, and many pre-skin lesions or skin lesions that are cancerous. So this habit is very important. It's best to find something that you actually really like the feel of, that you don't mind putting on, you don't mind reapplying. We have great makeups now. Aveeno has a tinted makeup. Some of the other mineral sunscreens have tinted makeups. But if you're getting a 15 that's a chemical tint, it's not going to give you the long-lasting effects that you're actually looking for. So that's about sunscreen. I'm actually really enjoying one of the Neutrogena spray sunscreens for larger surface areas, the arms, the legs, and there's something called Neutrogena Cooling Mist, which is virtually like water that goes on, and it feels really good, and it's not greasy. It doesn't have any after feeling. That's one of my preferred sunscreens that I like to use. Again, it's Neutrogena, so it's formulated to last 6 hours if you're just out and about wearing shorts and walking around. But again, if you're getting wet or perspiring, you need to reapply that after 40 to 120 minutes. When I go in the water, I recommend that you use a rash guard, a top that covers larger surface areas, because again, the sunscreen doesn't last long and people tend to spend a lot more time in the water and they get a lot of burn from being wet. So you save yourself a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of aggravation by wearing a rash guard, either a pullover or a jacket. I now have a jacket that goes on and off real easily. It actually keeps me cooler once you get it wet. The cool jacket will keep you much more comfortable on the beach. And I don't recommend people not go to the beach. I love going to the beach. I love going on vacation. I really enjoy being outdoors. I just recommend that you do adequate protection. So sun protection, skin exam, recommended. I recommend it to everybody. I recommend that you teach everybody that you know, everybody in your family, that they should be doing this head to toe evaluation and wearing protection every day. They will look younger and have less work to do later on. There is nothing that is painless when you're talking about anti-aging. And I'm going to talk about that, and I encourage anybody who wants to either Skype me or video chat, and I can talk to them about anything anti-aging that they would that I would recommend for them in whatever is interesting them. So we could do sort of like a personal consult in regards to that, where to spend your money. So next is the most important thing that adult females work with is creams for their face, acne products, masks, toners, eye creams, all of the products that they're purchasing for their neck and face, and for in hopes of making themselves look better. Number one is, if you're not wearing sunscreen, don't bother buying anything else. I really, really, really recommend that you look at what you're purchasing and saying, before I go and do anything anti-aging, I need to prevent the damage. So all the stuff that you have that you've spent money on in the past has done nothing because you really haven't protected your skin from the damaging rays. So number one, any skin that we're dealing with should never be dry. Okay, when people have dryness and they say they have combination skin, oh, I'm dry and I'm oily. I say you don't have combination skin. Combination skin is normal to oily. If you have dry skin, you have dry skin, and mostly dry skin is caused by a product, and you have to blame it on something. So you have to look at what you're using that's causing you to be dry. And for most women, it's about 13 products. So if we're dry, we have to stop everything, put it all in a box, pick up a gentle cleanser, which Cetaphil, CeraVe are my favorite cleansers, and use just those with a regular moisturizer. And I recommend either those lotions or creams to go along with the cleanser to get you back to baseline so that you can start the palette without dryness. From there, we can always work with what we want to work with. I do not use toners. In dermatology, we don't really need to use toners. Toners change the pH of the skin. They do not open and close the pores like marketing has told you, like the spas have told you, like the estheticians have told you. All they want to do is sell you product. They want you to walk out the door with $200 in a bag. So everything that they say is really not real. Nothing changes wrinkles in a week or a month. Nothing changes your complexion that fast. Nothing will change the complexion if you don't wear sunscreen. So we have to start with a palette that's not dry, and then from there you can do anti-aging products. There are 4 categories of anti-aging products. Number 1, sunscreen. Number 2, tretinoin. Tretinoins are what we call retin-A's. They're fabulous. I would love everyone to be on one if they can tolerate one. Everyone tends to get a little tiny bit dry in the beginning when they do retin-A's, which is why I recommend that they do them really slow. The gentlest retin-A is all you need unless you're really oily and you could tolerate a little higher one. But the effects of retin-A are not translated by the strength of the retin-A, just that you're getting the retin-A on. Retin-A does do fine lines. It does improve collagen in the skin, which is actually very, very important. And its effects take about 6 months to see. You will reduce fine lines around the eyes. You will soften fine lines on the rest of the face, and you will continue to maintain that. Basically, what it's doing is bringing your skin back to look like the baby's skin, which is pink and shiny. When we get a lot of UVA damage, you see that your skin starts to thicken. It starts to yellow and gray and get brown, obviously. And that's because the epidermis thickens in response to the UVA damage. So a baby's epidermis is very, very thin, and it's pink and it's shiny. So retin-A brings you back to that level. And you will see that with time. You mustn't be dry, and it's something that I could actually prescribe for you because it's very easy to get, although most of the time you guys have to buy it over the prescription, but not covered, because as an adult they usually will know that you're trying to use it for wrinkles and not so much for acne. The way I always start retin-A is I go slowly. I go every 3rd day for 2 weeks, and then I'll move it up to every other day for 2 weeks. Then I'll go up to every day. Some people may not be able to tolerate every day. Some people only be able to get to every other day. But the problem is that, again, if you're dry, you're having negative effects from the dryness, which usually translate into red patches, dryness over the eyes, pimples, and just your face not looking happy. So if it makes you dry, then you can't use it. So we would go to another category. So the first 2 categories are sunscreen and tretinoin. The second 2 categories are antioxidants and human growth factors. So these are antioxidants are products found in nature: vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin C, coffee berry. There's many different antioxidants. They fight free radical damage, which is on the skin, and they're very, very effective. They may not give you as much effect and change in the skin as tretinoin does, but they can be definitely used with tretinoin, and it's for long-lasting anti-aging effects. So they're very good, but they may not be very obvious. Vitamin C is very unstable. I don't tend to like to put money into vitamin C right now because I haven't found a good one. If it's exposed to daylight, it quickly denatures, and then it's not really anything. It becomes, ineffective. So until I've really found a good vitamin C, I don't carry one. I don't promote one. I don't believe that the ones that are available over the counter are worth anything. I find that marketing companies are always coming out with newfangled creams for women, and they're basically just sucking them in, and again, never encouraging adequate sun protection to even get any effect from the anti-aging products. The alpha hydroxys that are plentiful out there are actually under the category of tretinoins. So if you are successfully getting a tretinoin on your skin, there's no need to purchase an alpha hydroxy. It's just in the same category, and it's actually tends to stress your skin so that you can't tolerate either product because they're doing double duty. So the human growth factors are the last category. These are products that are actually sort of chemically formulated in the lab from stem cells, and are part of the hormonal makeup in our skin to grow collagen, to grow new skin cells. And it's a very exciting growth phase in the cosmetic industry. Mostly you're gonna see these right now in the dermatology offices, and we have a wonderful brand called Neocutis that I absolutely love. Well tolerated, it's elegant as can be, and it's very, very, very good quality. So that's the product that I like to use as an eye cream. The product that we have is called Lumiere, and so we're using human growth factors on the upper lids and the lower lids. You don't really want to use anything else on the upper lids because they're so sensitive. You can use tretinoin on the lower lids, or you can use alpha hydroxys on the lower lids, but they tend to create dryness and eczema in many, many, many women. And you'll usually see a bad reaction be caused by an eye cream that's an alpha hydroxy. Some people can tolerate them, but most people really, really struggle with them. So those are our 4 categories of anti-aging products. Sunscreen being the most important one, tretinoin being so important that I love putting it on everybody, except you have to really be careful about tolerating it, and tolerating it either to the level that you can, with the lowest level that's available, the lowest strength that's available. The human growth factors are awesome, especially around the eyes, and the antioxidants are great as a adjunct to the other categories. They all work differently, and that's what you want. You want everything working in a different approach, so that nothing is duplicating and you're not wasting your money. So a lot of women are using a lot of anti-acne products because they're breaking out. But what I encourage you is to see is, if you are breaking out, do you have any dryness? And a lot of the dryness is actually caused by the products that you're using for the breakouts. So either using alpha hydroxys, or using benzoyl peroxides, or using salicylic acids, all those products are stressing the skin in the majority of women. And they're not just using it in one product, they're using it in multiple products, using a face mask, an exfoliating product, a cream that is an acne pimple cream. They're using salicylic in their makeup. So they're multiplying the insult that they're doing to their skin with all of these irritating products, which is why I get back to that: take away everything, put it in a box, go to CeraVe or Cetaphil cleanser with moisturizer, and start from there, adding the products that matter, that are most important to you. I don't mind product lines from estheticians, but I do recommend that you don't need 6 products. It's really not doing you any good. The companies love selling women 6 products, 8 products. Everything has a purpose. What does that product do? I don't care what facial cleanser you have, as long as it doesn't make you dry. But the other products have to have purpose for you to spend your money. Save your money, put it toward something that's really going to make your skin look different, which is what I'm going to talk about next. So if you're dry and if you're breaking out, there's a reason. Stop everything. Go from there. If you're still having breakout, then you might be having some adult acne. You might be having some rosacea. We can fix that up. No problem. That's actually so simple to do once you've eliminated all the other causes that are making your face even look worse. Next thing is, what do you do about anti-aging? Where do you put your money? What kind of procedures do you do? There's so many to do. It's too much to talk to here. That's why what I like to do is ask someone, what don't they like about their face? What do they want to do? What do they want to make different about their face? What do they want to bring back to the face? If they have sagging eyelids, do you want to lift your eyelids? If they have lines around their mouth, do they want to get rid of the lines around the mouth? Do they hate the little lines above their lip? Do they feel like they've lost their lips and they're tiny and resorbed? Have you lost your cheeks? The fullness of your cheeks. All of this is a continual process of aging. Again, brought on by UVA and time. Collagen loss is definitely from UVA damage, but we also lose subcutaneous fat in our face, and that's why our face starts to go from the nice pretty oval that you see as a teen and as a beautiful 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds, to the more narrow face of a 40, 50, 60, 70, 80-year-old, to where it's sagging down off of the frame of the face, the skeleton of the face, because there's virtually no fat left in the face. So the baseline of the processes of facial rejuvenation is called filler, and filler um, uh, uh, um, energizes the face with the volume, revolumes the face by replacing the lost collagen and the lost subcutaneous fat, whether it be in the lower face, in the jowls, in the cheeks, and sometimes even in the temporal areas. Um, so filler is a wonderful, wonderful addition to our armamentarium and has made a huge, huge impact in people. Um, that there are many different types of fillers, and you want to go to someone who does it well. Um, I've had it done for probably about 5 or 6 years already, and you what you want to do is you want to do it so that you are preventing the loss that comes very slowly. But you can always replace the loss. There's many different wonderful different products. Sculpture is a very interesting product. I love sculpture because its objective is to actually bring back the ovalness to the face. It's not injectable that is just targeted to one location, the cheeks or the jowls or the upper lip lines, and filling in those lines. It's actually targeted to bring volume back into the face, and that's the one where it actually goes into the forehead, it goes into the cheeks, and it goes into the jowls right here. And it's multiple treatments. It's 3 treatments. And for the 3 treatments, you get far more effect than just doing 3 treatments into your cheeks or 3 treatments around the jowl area. So sculpture is a really, really wonderful process. I love it because its objective is to retain the ovalness or bring back the ovalness to the face. Botox is another wonderful agent that helps to relax lines, and these are lines of tension, of muscular contraction, which would be the glabella lines. I've had my glabella lines Botoxed out. You can see there's must be time to have it done again, huh? Because you can see it sort of. And with Botox, in doing your glabella, you also tend to wipe out the forehead lines. But you can see that it's a very natural look. You can also have it done around the eyes, and it relaxes the lines around the eyes. It won't always eradicate all of the deeper wrinkles, but it will relax the lines upon smiling. Botox only lasts about 3 or 4 months, and it is something that has to be done on a repeated basis. The filler can last up to a year, or in the case of sculpture, it lasts up to 2 to 3 years. It's all based, though, on how much you have to fill back in, how much volume have you lost, and how much volume do you want to get back to. So everyone's a different case with filler in that, where do they start and where do they want to end up. If you take someone who's in their 80s and they have very, very, very deep nasolabial folds or marionette lines here, it's going to take a lot of volume to fill that up. It can be done, though, and it is done. One thing that you want to be cautious about is that if you look at a lot of people who have endless supply of money, that they definitely go overboard with filler, and you can see that because they actually start changing the look of their perioral area, and a lot of actresses actually, you can tell that they're doing too much filler because their mouth looks different, their face is starting to change because they're putting too much volume into the area where it doesn't belong. So you have to be careful, and then you go to someone who's really good. But basically, they're doing that because they have more money and they can continue to pump in more and more and more, where it's really, really not having a positive effect. It now has sort of a negative effect and changes either their lips or their cheeks or their perioral area. So enough about filler. Enough about Botox. Laser is an amazing field. Laser can now take out your brown spots on your face, can take out the red lines on your face, can take out the red flush of your face, take out the brown spots and red spots on your neck and your chest and your arms and your back. It is almost endless what laser can do. Laser can also tighten up a very, very, very wrinkled face. as opposed to doing what we used to call dermabrasion. Then we had CO2 laser, which is that very very aggressive, deeper damage to the face, which then tightened up all of the skin. The laser now is doing that without that deep damage and as bad red raw meat looking face. But laser is really really specialized. You have to talk to someone who does laser. I do a variety of laser. I don't do the aggressive lasers that do the deep damage. That's usually requires heavy duty sedation. Very very good results for the money. Very very low downtime as compared to 5 years ago. But lasers a special uh, case, and you want to go to someone who's good, and we do have great laser in our office, and it works really well. So I'm getting to 30 minutes, so I'm going to spend about 5 more minutes on the rest of the skin down below. For some people, we find that we get a rash on the under our breast, and it's usually from moisture. Most skin rashes are from too much moisture or too little moisture. You can never go wrong with moisturizing the skin if it's having any problem, because that usually will fix it. But the rash under the breast, the rash under the belly, for people who are overweight, the rash that's between the legs for people that have a lot of adipose tissue down on the legs, is coming from too much moisture. One trick is that if you can keep the area dry, it will tend not to macerate and create the red rash that we have. It's called intertrigo. You have to use a special a compounded product that's not prescription ready-made. That's an incorrect product, and it's something that you would need to go to a dermatologist for to fix the rash. But you can prevent the rash, and one of the tricks I use is to blow dry the skin after you get out of the shower, especially if you have large pendulous breasts or you have a large pendulous abdomen. Then you dry the area well with towel, you blow dry the area, and then you can even use a wonderful a product called Zeosorb AF powder, which is probably the only one that I really recommend. And if it's not staying clear like that, then you have to go on and get more advanced evaluation. If our skin is dry, our hands are dry, our arms are dry, our legs are dry, our skin is dry, it doesn't like what we're using. Our body's very good at telling us what it likes and what it doesn't like. And if your legs are continually dry and you're always buying moisturizer and you're always moisturizing, whether it be winter, spring, summer, fall, then you are not liking your choice of cleanser that your body is being exposed to. You want to use a gentle cleanser. I love CeraVe. I love Cetaphil. I think they're awesome products. I avoid fragrances. Fragrances are the number one problem why people struggle with rash. I had a blueberry soap one time, and I experienced 2 to 3 weeks into using the blueberry soap a full body rash that started very insidiously and developed, and I was shown how this happens with people, and it literally took 3 weeks before the rash developed. And it was a new soap that I never thought I would have a problem with, blueberry soap.
Julian Erickson is calling. Julie.
Um, so um, lost my train of thought. So if you're dry, change your soap, get a good moisturizer, moisture up your body for about a week. Should fix it all. If you're still having problems, then you still
Julian Erickson is
probably
calling.
having
Julian
issue.
Erickson is calling.
Probably have issue with other things that are fragranced at the house, or other issues that you'd want to see a dermatologist for. So there we go, from our head to our toe. I'm going to finish up at the feet. I love feet. I'm Pisces. That's my part of my body. I like making people's feet great. Most people don't have great feet. They have problems with their feet. They have problems with their skin on their feet. Most of the problems is fungus, and people will not understand that they actually have an infection, a fungal infection on their feet, when they say, "Oh no, I just have dry heels, and I just have, that dry. That's just dry skin." Your feet shouldn't be dry, and if it's dry, it's an infection. Why we don't want fungal infection on our feet is because it goes into our toenails, and this is why we have a thick yellow, brown, discolored toenails most of the time. Sometimes it's not, but if you live long enough, you will develop fungal nails due to having fungal infection on your feet. We get this infection from the people we live with. So most of us have acquired it from our parents. Some of us have acquired it from our partners or our roommates or the gym, but there are different immune statuses, and some people will really resist and fight the infection of fungus for many, many, many years, and only really succumb to it where they have it mildly until it becomes rather prominent as they age and as their immune system weakens, and then the fungal infection takes over, and then it jumps into the nail. But for most people, I can find some degree of fungal infection because they're usually living with someone that has it, or living with, or has been exposed to someone that's had it in the past. So I do like to clean up the infection. I never, ever, ever encourage anybody to buy the small, tiny tube of fungal cream at the pharmacy because it's not enough to fix the infection. The tube needs to be this big, and it needs to be used twice a day on your foot for 4 weeks, and it needs to be put on every part of your foot. So a tube this big does nothing. So the companies that are selling these tubes are really doing nothing. It has to be put between the toes, the bottom of the foot, and the side of the foot. It will not fix your nails. If it's the fungal infection is already in your nails, you have to be seen, and you have to be giving oral antifungal pills to clean it up. They will not clear up any other way. And the pills are not that effective. They're about 70% effective at best, but about 50% of the cases will recur with the fungal infection on the foot, and so therefore the overall cure rate for nails is probably about 50%. So I will not treat someone's nails unless they clean up their feet and they are encouraged to clean up everybody else in their family's fungal infection on their feet, because number one, you're preventing the fungal infection in other people. So that's all I'm going to talk about today. I'd love to hear back any feedback, any questions. Do them on the page, and then if you want your personal consult, you can Skype me or video chat me, or do in person if you're around the area. I have a few people around the area, and have a wonderful night. Good night.